I was in LA and I got to be in the room with Master Lady Kira Ra as she was ensouling and be with the group that was there as one energy. And my experience with that was I wanted to open my eyes and watch and witness, yet I closed my eyes because I was having a one-on-one conversation within the same experience of receiving the conversation through Master Lady Kira Ra, as well as awareness. Every time I would open my eyes, somebody else is doing exactly what I'm doing, crying, nodding, smiling
Mm.
big. Like it was one and all, and no no doubt, no fear, no hesitation, just this incredible love with no trace of judgment. Any place that I would be like, oh, well, should I? It was like, it's all good. And you can feel it. It's so palpable. And so to know that it's time for her to bring this forward at a level that is really calling for the points of light to wake up and show up and come on, that's exciting because what does that mean? Where is that going to take us? And
I love the way you were describing the Insoulments and how it makes you feel, because I think whenever I started really following Sri and Kira, it was really experiencing part of what they're doing is I feel it. Whenever the Insoulments come through, I feel a warm energy. Whenever I read the Insoulments, I can feel it. And in LA, that was a beautiful experience. The energy was so warm. Um, Everyone, it's just a community of non-judgment. You can be yourself, and it's a wonderful place to be.
I didn't know that was real. I never experienced that until that moment of feeling in family, feeling loved, seen. Not just I love what I see. I felt so seen, so loved,
Mm.
so cared for, so supported, celebrated, nourished, and I felt one with. And it was a sense of being, there was no sense of obligation as I made food. It was a sense of joy that this was my gift I can share. And this is how I uplift and nourish my family. And that it was okay for everyone to come forward to uplift and nourish their community as they felt called in that moment. And I never felt even a hint of judgment. And to have that over the course of days and to be navigating a level of physical pain that does often stop me and I often collapse into, and to just keep that smile on and to keep going, knowing I was where I needed to be so far outside my personal physical comfort zone. Um, it changed the way that I can be hopeful about the future because now I know that that is real and that can be, and that I can be in that. I can really truly be myself, however that looks,
Mhm.
and be safe, seen, loved. But it's not about me.
Oh, I'm listening to you both having experienced a live ensoulment, and I've just got every time you talk about it, I've got goosebumps going all the way through. It's like I'm going all the way through me. I can't wait to actually be in the presence of that because I do experience it through the online, and the last Monday Mastery where we had the ensoulment that was in the pyramids. I found my body going into spontaneous shaking, and then this, the cry. It's not a cry; it's an energy release of some sort. It feels almost guttural. There's like this. It's like this cry that came through me that was releasing energy, and there no tears, just this vibration comes through. And the tears of joy is all I can, because it's like there's a release of something that my conscious mind cannot even begin to comprehend what happened. But all I know is that afterwards I felt so strong, so clear, so knowing that every step I'm taking right now, albeit not knowing where the direction is going, it is in a kind of fuzzy kind of walking through the fog, but knowing that every single step is the absolute right step I'm taking right now. How am I ever going to know the destination if I don't step on the journey? And so I honestly feel that the Insoulments, when in presence, and I do, you know, the recordings are also good, but I find that when you're in there and you're in the energy zone of the archangelic realm speaking through Master Lady Kira Ra, it's we may as well be in the room with her. There is no difference. We are in quantum space and time. So yeah, it's yeah, amazing. And I do feel that my life has shifted and changed in ways that I had not even known it would have been possible. You know, it's broken me out of my family of origin cycle of victim consciousness that's been going on for, you know, since the beginning of time. And, you know, and I've managed to step out a bit and love them all anyway, with no blame and no shame, and have beautiful relationships with all those that I felt were perhaps torturous in my younger years, or they did that, or whatever the reason that it was that we had separation. There's been no barrier to come back together again and just be as we are and accept them as they are. And it's just, without obligation, it's a beautiful space to be. Yeah.
It's very freeing what you're describing, breaking out of that cycle. You'd also mentioned Monday Mastery, and I think that's important to talk about. The ensoulment that came through, the initiation from all the sacred codes. And I was there and listened during Monday Mastery, but I went and re-listened to it again a couple of nights ago, and it was amazing. So sometimes it takes me a couple of times to listen to those ensoulments to really integrate it. But wow, I would, if you have not listened to it a second time, definitely gift yourself with that.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's the other thing I guess I wanted to plug in here is, you know, when I was in fundamental religious communities, there was a term called living scripture. And it didn't, and I understood what it was supposed to mean, but I never experienced the truth of it until I was with Sri Ramka and Kira Ra, in that I can read an ensoulment. I can do Navigating the Inner Matrix, which is a program based on the first ensoulments that Archangel Zadkiel brought through them when they first came together in their sacred union. And every single time I read Sacred Union, every time I go through the NIM program, every time I read an ensoulment, it speaks to other parts of me. I receive it differently every time. And there's always that moment of, oh, I don't remember that. Or like, oh, goodness, how quickly we forget. I was supposed to do a practice after I read that. And I love how more and more those practices are actually woven into the ensoulment that the ascended realm moves us through, like the initiations, the activations, and the practices live, so to speak. I mean, it's always live when Shri and Kira are sharing with us because they are always speaking through. But that is such an incredible gift to avail ourselves to. No words.
And what, you know, what you're describing, going back and reading the ensoulments, it's the same ensoulment, but we're expanding our consciousness, right? So whenever we go back and reread an ensoulment that we may have read a year ago, we've changed. So now we're getting more from it. That's why they're so important to review, because as we uplift, we're going to go back and it's going to be even a deeper meaning to us.
And do you love
Absolutely.
how we're guided to different ensoulments at different times individually?
Oh,
and they're now?
Absolutely. And it's exactly the message that you need. Because sometimes yeah, sorry, Ashtara, I've interrupted you twice. Sorry.
No, go. I'm a little too excited. You please share. I want to hear what you have to say.
I'm just saying that sometimes if I'm in a space of, not feeling my greatest and, the density has really sort of got heavy around me, I will just go onto the Insoulment messages page on shriankira.com, where there's different programs of like the living in the fifth dimension, or the message of the Essene, or whichever one, and I'll say, guide me, I'm here, I'm ready, I am open, please guide me to where I need to get a message. And I'll just scroll and I'll like, okay, that one, and it will be from whichever one, and every single time it is speaking to exactly the issue I am experiencing, and gives me the uplift to be able to completely shift my paradigm and move into doing something that's much more fun and vibrationally appealing for me. So yeah, I agree with you. The Insoulments are timeless, and I can't believe that some of them were written over 20 years ago. It's just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember when I first started reading them, I didn't understand them very much, but I kept reading them, and now I go to them, and now you understand what all of them mean. So I think at any level, whether I was reading them 3 years ago or yesterday, you're still getting a lot from it. You're getting what you need at that time.